Cast time. It's a Monday evening in the late June, the summer, some might say, meaning that not E3 season has happened and video games are occurring. Video games like The Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yeah, that's correct.
I got that right? Erdtree?
Yeah, you did. You did. You got the Erdtree. It's it's blowing up the internet like fucking crazy. Um, the DLC has the lowest review because it's been review bombed because it's too hard.
I mean, that's probably objectively true. These games are always too fucking hard.
Well, okay. So I'm just gonna launch right into a little tirade. From Software games, when they do DLC, it's not just, ooh, here's some more content for you to cruise through. It's for people who are looking for a greater challenge than the one they previously surmounted. So, right? So it's just like, yeah, Elden Ring was hard, but you know what will be much harder? The DLC. And they have fucking delivered, friends. And I gotta say, that challenge has forced me specifically to change my strategy, to explore new play styles, to work harder than I feel like I've had to work at an Elden Ring boss fight in fucking ages. And it felt great to finally win one, two, three boss fights I've done so far. There's a lot of them, BT dubs. Here's another fun fact. When Miyazaki, the dude, the FromSoft guy, he was like, "Well, the DLC's about the size of Limgrave." That was a fucking lie. This DLC is about 75% the size of Elden Ring 1.
Oh.
Like the base. Yeah, it is goddamned enormous.
All right. That seems like a good thing if you like Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's like Limgrave and then a Limgrave on top of that, so another Limgrave on top of that, and a couple little Limgraves off to either side. Yeah, once you overcome that first, there's like one skill check boss, and then once you overcome that boss, then the entire map opens up.
Okay.
But woof.
Here's the interesting thing though. Of all the people who are complaining about the difficulty of the game, you know who wasn't complaining? People who reviewed it. They played Shadow of the Erdtree with no guides, no guidance, no videos. And guess what? They had a nice time.
Yeah, I think there was one outlet that was like, we give this a 3 out of 5 because it's too hard. But like, yeah, most reviewers were pretty jazzed on this game. It takes a good thing and makes it even better.
I just think it's really funny that it's the people who are the gatekeepers of games like this, you know, the public, that are now complaining about the difficulty of it. No, friends. You brought this hellscape upon us.
Yeah. Y'all bitch that y'all told everybody to get good, and when the time came for you to do so, you didn't wanna. You will, though. I was basically ready to, like, give it up, because I was like, well, fuck, if I can't do this with my little astrologer friend and the shooty beams of magic, how am I gonna fucking manage? And then somebody introduced me to the wonders of the turtle build.
Pray tell, what means turtle build?
Basically, turtle build is when you dump a bunch of stat points into being able to wear the heaviest possible armor, to use the biggest possible shield, and a nice long spear. And you combine all these things into somebody that can sit there and turtle up until it's time for them to poke very quickly with their fucking spear. And you just sort of rinse and repeat until the boss dies, or you do 40 to 60 times. I don't know. I don't remember the boss's name, but she's like the twin Moon Knight. She has like one sword that's ice and one sword that's fire, and she sucks. She's the fucking worst. And I finally kicked her ass this afternoon, and hoo boy, what a feeling. What a feeling, friends.
These games do get that feeling right. I will say that. If you're willing to put the time in and learn the patterns and all the nonsense that comes along with any kind of FromSoft game, the satisfaction upon defeating a boss is very, very high.
Yeah. Oof. What a time.
Red, are you getting in on this Erd Tree nonsense or what?
No, I have not.
But were you one of the big Elden Ring guys?
Yeah, I mean, I like Elden Ring.
Okay. Maybe later. It's not for me. I know that. That's fact.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Wait till the hype dies down.
So in like a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, we just had to schedule this during Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, didn't we? It's Game 7, boys. We are Canadian.
I know.
What's going on here?
I was gonna say before the show, like no spoilers. I'm gonna watch it later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I understand if you can't. I get it.
Yeah. Well, there's no way I'm going to be able to avoid seeing the end of the game. So I've got one shot.
One opportunity. Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've actually been playing Elden Ring, but not the DLC. Started a new character.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Does it hold
it's a
up?
game that does it hold up? In what regard?
I mean, is it as impressive, as impactful as, a couple of years back?
Yes and no. I think that the visuals are starting to look a little dated. Although I remember thinking like the world looked great when the game came out, but the a lot of the NPCs didn't look very good. And I think that is even more pronounced now.
It's interesting because I find the boss designs are where they really shine visually.
Oh yeah, the bosses look great.
And the character designs are pretty fucking great. But the NPCs, you're right, are whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Much like how they treat the story and the lore of the world. Whatever.
Yeah.
If they spent some time and effort to build in some like cutscenes and things like that, I think people would be a lot more willing to tolerate the nonsense.
Right.
Because for
there's
me,
definitely
I'm like
people out there who are like big Elden Ring lore heads.
Oh, I'm sure it's
big
in
fans
there.
of the story. Yeah.
But
yeah,
take an example of Bloodborne, which is probably the FromSoft game I played the most. No, Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2, I reviewed that one. Did not like it. Yeah, in Bloodborne, you hear somebody talking through a window. I'm like, okay, who is this? Tell me more. And I get that they're, it's a show don't tell kind of thing, but
yeah,
like do something with these NPCs. It sounds like they're interesting stories. And maybe they're in there. You just have to, I don't know, do some completely obtuse series of tasks in order to get to it.
Yeah, they're definitely not the focus. That's for sure.
That's fine. Wow. In this gameplay we're watching, there's a giant skeleton knight guy, and this is just a regular old enemy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
James, have you played it enough to get a read on a score on this bad boy?
That's a great question. I feel like it's probably better than a 7 for sure.
Okay.
Creeping towards hundo territory, just because like they sort of managed to like refresh and rejuvenate that feeling of like, oh my god, I'm exploring a huge whole new world, and it's amazingly fun and hard, where it's just like, oh well, you were big Elden Lord king shit, and then you come to this realm and you're a scrub all over again, and like even the like ways in which power is achieved and unlocked are different. Like the fucking strategies are all different. The like the world itself is has a whole different set of like lore if you're into that sort of thing. But like at the same time you're still building on that high quality base in a way that like elevates what made the original game good. And this is all for DLC. It's not even a sequel. It's just a fucking an expansion.
What's the
which
price
is
like? $40?
I think it was like 53 Canadian.
Okay. It's probably
53,
40 American.
Yeah.
That's not bad if it's actually that big. It's pretty good value.
Yeah, I would say it's like, he says it's the size of Limgrave. It's probably more like conservatively 2 Limgraves, maybe 2.5 Limgraves, which is crazy because Limgrave is like the biggest part of the Elden Ring map by a long shot.
Speaking of review scores, now I remember what I wanted to say. In regards to most reviewers, essentially none of the reviewers mentioning how difficult it was or complaining that it was too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think historically speaking, reviewers that complain about difficulty get absolutely shredded online, and nobody wanted to fucking eat that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
They probably, what happened is that they found people to review the game that were familiar with the base game, and so were less likely to be like, oh, this is too hard, I don't know what's happening. Because like, I bet every major publication had somebody who's like, shit, I love Elden Ring, I'll cover the DLC, and then
And I
so
don't
at the
think
very
that-
least,
I don't think that's true. There's been
No?
lots and lots of a bunch of whining babies. Yeah, there's been lots and lots of streamers and whatnot that put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game, and they're like, yeah, it's too hard.
yeah, it's funny. There's a couple that are all over my timeline. One dude started playing Elden Ring like 2 months ago.
He's already
And
beat it.
He's he's beat the base game and he's moved on. He's like, I moved on to the DLC,
Yeah.
and he's done like 2 or 3 bosses so far. But he's basically out here telling people, no, listen, you knew the contract, you understood the details, you know what this is about, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that is it that it's actually too hard, or is it differently hard than Elden Ring and people are having a hard time adapting?
I think the fact that they introduced level scaling, and they studied the strategies that were being used the most often and countered a couple of them, is really fucking people up.
Yeah, your
'Cause, like-
blue pew-pews don't work anymore.
No, not at all. Well, even with the one specific boss that I was having the most trouble with in the early part of the DLC, she's specifically protected against magic. So her magic defense is higher than usual.
What a dick.
And yeah, and not only that, but even the turtle strategy is difficult, because if they see you turtle up like that, and it looks like your shield moves for half a second to do an attack, what she does is she fucking circles around the sides and behind you and keeps the combo going. so if you just attack blindly, she punishes you with a fatal combo.
Brutal, man.
Level scaling should not be a thing in these games.
Well, what they countered it by introducing a new collectible, a new item that improves your stats, and it's the only way you can get properly stronger.
Right.
It only applies to the DLC. It's only found in the DLC area.
Oh, so once you have a
And-
bunch of these items, you can go back to like the opening area and just destroy everything.
You'll do better for sure.
Right. Okay. Okay. Because that's one of the best parts about these is when you can go back and you can beat the level 1 grunts up with just a blowing on them.
Yeah, I'm on New Game Plus.
I didn't say blowing them, Paul. I said blowing on them.
I didn't say anything.
I saw
No,
that fucking grin. Roll back the tape. I know what you thought you heard.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm on New NG Plus 2, I think, and I went back and when I went through and fought the very first boss in the base game, I carved that fucker up like a turkey. It was
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Erdtree living up to lofty expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of carving dudes up, I saw a video just before we went live of a guy who had reached the level cap in Elden Ring. He grinded to the level 713. And you should see him carving up every single boss in the game. It's crazy. It's 4 to 5 hits on the tougher ones, 1 to 2 on the weaker ones. He is
Oh yeah.
playing that game blindfolded at that point and walking through it.
There's a lady online right now who's been going through the DLC with without a physical controller. She's using like nodes or whatever. Like she's got some
Oh.
shit. Yeah.
Nodes. So what? She's just thinking about her moves?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That sounds very cool, but also highly unreliable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, apparently actually getting from place to place and moving around is much harder than actually fighting bosses.
Yeah.
So what if you're like, oh, maybe I'll have pizza later?
And
Like,
it's just
what is that? What does that map to?
Yeah. It just crashes the game.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I just pulled up this level 713 gameplay. It's pretty funny.
How funny is that? Yeah.
Also, that's like so many hours of grinding. That's preposterous. That's
Yeah.
fucking preposterous.
Yeah.
So what else has been going on?
Well,
I mean, I guess I could talk more about Destiny. So that's
if
basically what I've
you
been playing.
have more to say about the final shape, then by all means, let us hear it.
I put out my final review of the final shape.
Yep.
Scored it a 95. I think after playing more and more and more of this thing, it's the best they've done in a very, very long time.
Nice.
It's super awesome.
I was really hoping he'd come back and be like, you know what? Upon further reflection,
Fuck
one
it.
of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever played. What a fucking joke.
Yeah. The biggest challenge with it, honestly, is I want more content because I want to play it more. But, you know, game as a service, there's stuff coming out every week. So there's always things to do at the beginning of a week. But if you're playing it intensively, you're going to be replaying some things by the end of a week. That's just the way she goes on a live service.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. Top qual. If you want to hear more, listen to the last podcast.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's anything that I can still talk about that I haven't yet in terms of games I've been playing. I don't. You know, I could take a quick look here, but I don't think so. I think I've covered everything that's been.
I mean, we talked about Thousand Year Door.
Yep.
which I've actually heard some mixed commentary on. I know you're pretty hot on it, but
I mean, like, what have you heard that be bad? What was bad that you heard?
particular sequence or chapter, apparently there's a fighting tournament that is full of bullshit.
Oh, I mean, yes, but realistically, when I do a remake review like this, especially if I've played the original, sometimes I spend more time thinking about how they've managed to preserve or like improve or like bring forward the original game and what they've done to like. And in terms of that, I guess I could say that tournament chapter is still a little busted. There's so many fights you have to do, and there's this like little song and dance that comes at the beginning and the end of every one, and it's like we didn't really need.
Yeah, like kick you back to the hub, and then you got to get ready for the fight again, and you got to watch another cutscene, and then you got to do the fight. You got to debrief, crown the winner.
Yeah, it's. I would say chapter 3 is definitely the worst in the game by a long shot.
Yeah. The general sentiment I've heard in a few places is when I got to the end, I was like, oh, good. Finally. It's over.
Yeah.
I've had enough. So.
Yeah, everything else is pretty good. Chapter 3 is bad. Chapter 3 is bad.
Okay.
Sorry, which game?
Thousand Year Door.
Oh yeah, nice.
But so your mileage may vary, but that's all things.
I played Moonstone Island.
Say more.
It was a Switch port of the original PC game. It came out last year. It's one of these little cute pixelated 2D top-down buzzword mashups, buzzword salads. So we've got a little bit of farming, a little bit of crafting, a little bit of monster taming, and the battles are card-based.
Okay. So they put
Yeah.
all of these kinds of games into a blender and picked some things that are now something unique.
It's pretty cool. The card-based battling stuff is great. It really makes the battles dynamic and interesting, and sort of fun to power through. When you start the game, it's like you have to sit in front of a big fat loading screen where it's like, we're procedurally generating the world. It's kind of big. Give us a minute. It'll be good. And then you get out there. It's like, oh no, they were right. It's quite large. Because it's just like a series of islands, and the first thing you have to do is build a way to travel between them, and then you do faster and faster methods of traversal that take less energy, and it's pretty cool. There's like a whole social system where you can like get closer to people and get into romantic entanglements, and there's a pretty robust quest system, so there's a lot of things you're working towards at any given time. There's a reasonable but not ridiculous amount of monsters you can go out and collect and fight and level up and stuff. There's like 70 of them, I think.
You know what the problem is with this card-based system?
Mm-hmm.
It's not Queen's Blood.
No,
I have to compare everything now to Queen's Blood. Is this card system as good as that? The answer is pretty much no.
Pretty generally, no, it's not as good as Queen's Blood. Definitely not quite as frenetic. But I will say that they successfully make these card-based battles interesting pretty well every time.
I'm more or less joking. But
Yeah. No, it's good to have standards. And I'm pretty burnt out on like farming buzzword salad type games, life sim bullshit. This one got its hooks in me. This one like got around my defenses. I think because the battle system is engaging and you can change how long the days are. If you just want to breeze through a season, you can set it to short. But like if you're like, I have so much shit I have to do every day, you can like set it to be longer. And that's
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
that's not a bad idea.
It's crazy that nobody else has done it.
Does the stamina then scale for the length of the day you've chosen, or are you still working with the same amount?
You're working with the same amount, but it's much. There's always items that you can use to recover your stamina, and the human, you don't have hit points. All you have is stamina. So when you take damage out in the world from like environmental hazards and stuff like that, then its stamina is being taken away. But the monsters all have hit points. And so you've like two different systems you're working with. And the monster catching is relatively straightforward, which is good.
Nice.
And like you have places to store them even if you haven't built one yet. So
Cool.
yeah. And you can build a new home on like every island.
Okay, well that carries some weight.
Yeah, so like if you want to make sure that you have a home base because again the map is not small, and so like if you don't want to be traveling 4, 5, 6 islands away just to get back to your house because it's one of those games where at 2 a.m. you are going to sleep where you stand.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I will never get tired of mechanics of building up a base, building out a team. You lead me to an area where it's obvious I'm going to be bringing in vendors and shops and things of that nature. Love it every time. The game can be bad, but I will probably soldier on at least a little bit if you've got that.
Yeah.
It's probably an ADHD thing, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played anything else, but I downloaded a couple things because they came to Game Pass.
Okay.
One being Still Wakes the Deep, which is some kind of horror thing.
Sick.
Looks
Love horror things.
Looks pretty interesting. It's first person. It's supposed to play on a bunch of different fears, claustrophobia, fear of water, and the vibe and style of it is very, very neat. I want to give it the old college try. It's on a ship, so
Sick. Okay.
And
spooky
it's
ships.
set on Christmas Day 1975.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's got
cool.
I think it's got a few things going for it. I'd like to give that one a try. And Octopath Traveler 2 is on Game Pass now.
Hell yeah.
So I've been waiting to shoot my shot on that one. This might be the time.
It's so much better than the first one.
And the first one's good.
Yeah.
Rhett,
you been playing anything? There, big dog?
Not really.
Oh, come on. What you been playing on stream, bud?
Not really. Stream. Finished the first Senua game. It was all right. Finished Crab's Treasure. That was pretty good.
Nice.
Yep, that was pretty good. I was a fan of that one. I guess I dropped my review for Drug Dealer Simulator too. But like, the game sucks, man. There's really nothing to say. The game just sucks. Like, it's just a buggy fucking mess. It looks super dated, and it's just not very good. Like, the best part about it is that the actual drug manufacturing process is pretty involved. But that's really all there is to say about it. Like, it's really not very good. I think I gave it a 59. So definitely less than a 7.
Dang.
That's less than a 7. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one I wouldn't recommend going to play. If you have to go out there and
Make drugs.
make fake drugs, like I guess you could play this game. Yeah. I did
It's-
say in the review that it is way better than the first one. So if you liked the first one, then you'll probably like
Okay.
this one. But fact of the matter is it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, should not have been sampling their own product while creating the game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Or they should have sampled their
Yeah.
own product a little more in order to squash the bugs.
Yeah. It got delayed like 3 or 4 times before launch, and I knew something didn't smell right. Something was foul in the air.
Yeah.
So you knew they were trying to like squeeze out the last bit of polish they could put into it, and they should have just released it.
They
Like,
didn't fix it, so
it
just
wouldn't make
just
a
fucking put it
difference.
out.
Yeah.
What do you say, guys? Should we talk about that Nintendo Direct?
Yes. Let's do it, baby.
New Mario and Luigi game.
New Mario and Luigi. It's been 9 years. And we're getting ourselves. I had no idea this was coming. I was a little shocked, to be honest. I'm not a big devotee of this series. I played the first one and the most recent one that came out in 2015. I didn't really touch anything in between those two games. So I recognize they're good games. I appreciate them. But I don't know. They didn't really catch me. They didn't really latch on somehow.
I feel like I got a problem with the name. Brothership.
Oh, sure. That's weird. That's extremely weird. But you know what? I bet there's a fucking wacky ass reason that it's called that. You just know there's
of course.
it's a reference to something fucked right up.
The other main takeaway I had from this trailer is I found the new Mario and Luigi voices very noticeable. Because Mario says words.
Oh yeah, the more you have him talk, the more you're like, well, that's not Charles Martinet, but I mean, how could it be? Let the man retire. Let this new dude come in and give the brothers his own kind of spin. We're this is the world we're living in, man.
Yeah,
Is it Pratt?
It should be.
Is it C Pratt? No, it's not.
You know it's not.
They fucked up,
But
man.
why not?
They fucked up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Give him a
Yeah.
shot.
Noted vocal chameleon Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Couldn't be in the booth for this one.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. Mario as portrayed by Star-Lord. Love
Yeah.
it.
I think they fucked up by not bringing C Pratt back.
Mario suddenly he's got way into like 80s rock. What is that all
Yeah.
about? He loves mixtapes.
Well, fuck it,
Ah.
man. I think that sounds like a healthy new direction for the series.
I'm into it. Honestly.
Yeah.
But this game looks all right. Looks like more of that Mario and Luigi stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of entries for this Nintendo Direct where it's like, if you're a big fan of this franchise, you're eating fucking good.
Yeah.
All right. And so there's like a whole bunch of those where it was like, I'm really happy for you guys. I don't know, this is really my thing.
I heavily felt that way about Metroid Prime. Like, yep, that sure is more Metroid Prime. Looks exactly the same.
It looks exactly like the older games. That's like, is that a deliberate decision where it's like we thought we'd go to like the GameCube Wii levels of visual fidelity for this one, really like take people back to the past to like 2010, 2011, 2009,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Metroid is super cool, but Prime worked uniquely in that era. nobody wants to be locked on and jumping around in a 3D shooter in 2024. I don't think.
Not nearly as many people know. That Metroid Dread kicked major ass because you had that combination of a certain visual fidelity with a more accessible play style and visual style. And I mean, and again, there's people who are like, I'm waiting for another Metroid Prime game for decades now. I'm so happy, yada yada yada. And they're all gonna love it. They're all gonna have an amazing time. I have never played 2 and 3. I am not sure I'm gonna be playing 4 unless the review is thrust into my hands.
Yeah. Agreed. Same page. Any thoughts on Prime, Rhett?
Nope.
Nah, I don't think so.
Didn't see the trailer for it.
Well, if you've seen a Wii game, you've seen this.
You've seen this one? Yeah, perfect. I'm just dying to get out of here so I can go watch that.
Yeah, it's worth the time, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's some charge beam.
Let's
little morph
see.
ball. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say there's some getting into
little
a
bit of morph
ball and
ball.
rolling
Yep.
around through ventilation shafts.
You got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I feel like I have seen it.
Oh, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a new Zelda game actually starring Zelda, which I feel great about. I think it's a bold move. They should have done it years ago. It's crazy that it took them this long.
I would agree. It's about time. I think the gameplay is not something I want to play ever. I don't want to put chairs in the wilderness for an entire game.
I have a funny feeling that's not exactly the bulk of the gameplay. I mean, not chairs specifically.
I mean, they went into great detail about the thousands of items that you'll be able to reproduce and use in unique ways. It didn't strike me.
I think it's one of those things where we're going to have to see more of it in action to really get to grips with it. I mean, I don't know. Could be dog shit. But they also scored extra points with me by using the same game engine that they did for the Link's Awakening remake, and I fucking love that game.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah. I think I think there's a good possibility this is great shit. Whenever you're able to control Zelda in any game, her shit is always pretty weird. The Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, she had a pretty weird magic system. I'm used to that. I'm used to that front.
I think that's all well and good. This feels like, obviously, none of us have played it. We don't know. But it looks like that's just too close to Minecraft.
Really? That's where your mind goes?
It does.
Really?
And that's probably totally wrong. But
absolutely the last word I would have thought of when watching that trailer.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. Because when this trailer started up, I was like, oh shit, is this Link to the Past? Because that would be cool.
Mm.
Or if
no,
yeah. However, glad there's a Zelda game. Hopefully it's great.
Yeah. There's a couple other. Oh shit! That Capcom fighting game collection that's like all the Marvel ones.
Yep.
I want that so fucking bad. Oh my god! Because there's like a bunch that I've never even. I've played a few of them, but there's a few that I haven't played as well. And that's an intersection of two things I happen to like very much.
Yeah, I mean, it really is all of them. It's like Marvel versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. Marvel versus
Marvel
Capcom 2.
superheroes.
Marvel superheroes.
There's like a weird Punisher beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I want. Man, I fucking love the visual style of those games. Just like those big, crazy, larger than life comic book characters, all fucking vibrant and loud and muscled up and just bursting with fucking crazy beam-based special effects. Oh, it's so good.
I mean, and that art really holds up. It holds up great. Did they announce a price for that? Probably full price.
They haven't even given a hard date. They said it's coming in 2024, but they didn't say when, which to me says that there's a bunch of like netcode shit they're trying to get right. So they're like, it uses rollback netcode. I'm like, okay, great, but I still feel like you have to make that work for, I don't know, half a dozen games or whatever it is that it comes with. So
yeah. Dragon Quest remakes.
oh my god, I gasped. I was shocked when I found out that they were doing 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, that's
Dragon
awesome.
Dragon Quest 1 is like in the echelons for me. It's like a very special game that I play semi-regularly, where it's because you just do the whole quest to go get the gear and kick the Dragon Lord's ass. Yeah, I get into that game all the fucking time.
I'm looking at this and I'm going, please God, remake Final Fantasy VI in this style.
I mean, that would be good. I think that's as close as we're gonna get to a remake of Final Fantasy VI. It's like the
sure.
2D HD style. Some executive from Square was like, "Yeah, cool. If we had 20 years, we could absolutely do Final Fantasy VI the way we did 7."
It would be, yeah, it would be an unmanageably large project.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not know that Dragon Quest 3 predates 1 and 2 chronologically in the universe.
I also did not know that, or if I did know that, I had since forgotten it.
I do like how they snuck that 1 and 2 in there. It's like, oh yeah, we're also going to do the same thing to these other 2 games.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Yuji Horii for sitting there holding a stuffed slime. Good time.
Yeah. No, I'm super looking forward to those. That's gonna be good shit.
Oh boy, what else was in here?
There's a collection of Ace Attorney games coming out. Ace Attorney Investigations. This is another one of those things where it's like, I don't give a shit, but the people online were like celebrating in the streets, basically, like, oh my god, because apparently these games have never been localized before, properly, officially, and so this is going to be a lot of people's first chance to play them. Although what that does mean is that the localization team is going to be choosing official English names for some of these characters, and apparently people are already not thrilled with the decisions they've made.
Oh, come on. How bad could it be?
Oh, Ace Attorney game character names have been incredibly stupid from the beginning, like from jump. They've been like wacky as shit, and it's just like crude, obvious puns based on their circumstances, their personalities, or their roles within the larger game. It's amazing. Never change, Capcom. It's so good.
Yeah, I only ever played, I don't know which one it was. Played one Ace Attorney game. Quite enjoyed it. Really like slamming that objection button. Hell yeah.
Phoenix Wright's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're
100%.
great.
Yeah.
I've dabbled, but I've mostly watched. There's a set of YouTubers that I watch that I've seen them play through a couple of the games, and they're great.
Yeah.
What do we think about Lego Horizon Adventures?
I mean, I personally feel that Lego games have a sort of ceiling in terms of quality. They can get this good and no better. People will tell me otherwise. Those people are adorable, but not like correct. I don't know. Like they're fine. They're great. To me, the Lego games are like rock solid 7 out of 10 adventures. They're fun. They're silly. The writing's good. Mechanically, they are vacuous. There's
Yes, they're
there
all
is
exactly
nothing
the
under the hood.
No, it's very interesting that this was a franchise that they would target. But I feel like pretty smart from Sony's perspective to let them do this and let them put it on a different platform. It's a very easy way to dabble outside of their own platform. Be like, what weight do our franchises hold elsewhere? And can we convince people who have a Switch to buy a PS5? It looks all right.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a Lego game. It'll come out. It'll get 7.5 on average. So there'll be a third of the reviews that are way above that, and 2/3 that are far below. And that's where we'll be, and that's fine. They're Lego games. They're fundamentally not for me.
Yep. Watch all those animals explode into little Lego bricks. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else? I'm scrolling through the timeline. Remaking Romancing Saga?
Yep.
Sure. Is it a new Mario Party game?
It is.
I didn't want any more of these. I
No,
think they're all terrible.
it's got online play, which I don't know if they've done that much
Oh, good.
before.
Suffer by yourself now. You can't even commiserate with the other people in the room that the minigames are so bad.
I mean, I'm sure they'll have the local option as well, because like, there's no way they can just let that prize fucking slip away from their fingers.
It's true. Ugh. What is this, like the 14th Mario Party?
Maybe it might be. It might actually be the 14th Mario Party.
Like, damn close. I'm gonna quickly Google that because I need to know.
Yeah, there's been many Mario's Party, and this is another one.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th.
Wow, you were very close.
Oh, but then there are
Yes.
quite a few handheld games.
Yeah.
13th in the main series, though. I thought that was an insane number to throw out, but no. We've been subjected to 12 of these nonsense, garbage time wastes.
They're perfect for what they are, which is a fucking a fun party game with your friends.
Listen, maybe I'm just traumatized from playing the very early ones on the N64 and putting my palm on top of the little N64 nub joystick to rotate it as fast as possible and burning a literal gunshot wound into my palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way to win. And it doesn't matter how you do, because then they'll just fuck with all the stars right at the end anyway.
Pretty busted.
Anyway.
Yeah. There's a new Phantom Brave coming at some point. There's that fucking Tales of the Shire Lord of the Rings game coming out at some point.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of shovelware in the middle there.
The Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, which great if it's another attempt by Nintendo to cater specifically to the speedrunners. Will it work? Who's to say? Another fun, goofy ass update from Nintendo. They have a separate app on the Switch for the M-rated N64 games. Like they're anything that you couldn't show to a child now because of how dated they are. So, like, if you want to play Perfect Dark or Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter, you have to download a second app.
Oh,
Is Turok offensive now?
it's 2024, dog.
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Like,
I don't
I
think
feel like
so,
if-
but I wanted to get a vibe check on that.
I personally feel like it's so non-specific and just like, oh, he's sort of like blandly, broadly indigenous a little bit, and he's out here hunting dinosaurs. And that's kind of like, that's sort of as much as they were really able to do. They definitely don't like, I still remember that game reasonably well, and they definitely don't like go into his heritage or anything in any way. So it's like there's not really enough there to get offended at.
All bets are off when he's got laser weapons to hunt dinosaurs.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like he's using lasers and knives to hunt dinosaurs. I just cannot fathom this being any sort of a problem.
That's
I do
fair.
want to play it again though.
I remember liking those games back in the day, but it'd be
Also,
really
it
nice
has-
if they put them back out with less fog. Remember the
Yeah.
fog being quite egregious.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. There's cheat codes too, I remember. I don't remember what they are, but I know you could punch a bunch of them in and like do wild, goofy shit.
This is not really related to anything we've been talking about, other than it's N64 related. But I had a friend that went to some nerd expo this past weekend and picked up Star Wars Shadows of the Empire on the N64
Oh my God.
for $20.
Oh my god.
I was like, hell yeah, dude, that game is probably awful, but I really loved it at the time.
Yeah, man. Shadows of the Empire was great.
It had the most complicated cheat codes I think I've ever input. Like to activate the debug menu, it had you like hovering the stick halfway to its limit while holding a bunch of different buttons. So you basically had to control the stick like with your nose
Oh,
because
that's
you were holding that many buttons.
preposterous.
Yeah, it was
That's
unreasonable,
so bad.
but well worth it. Anything else
Okay.
out there in the newsy news space?
I think no. Most of my feed has just been people playing Elden Ring or bitching about it being too hard, or bitching about the people bitching about it being too hard.
And that's a good use of everyone's time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or something.
Get in there.
Or don't. If you know it's going to be too hard for you, don't get in there.
Yeah.
Just watch a stream, pick somebody that you look like the cut of their jib and watch them bash their face against it.
But you know what? No. Take it from me, a scrub, a total scrub motherfucker. If I can beat that first nasty, horrible boss, you can too, okay?
Just turtle up, baby.
Yeah, I'm demonstrably bad at video games, even though I love them so very much, and I was able to do at least a few bosses, maybe even more as time goes on. I'm sure you can as well.
What's going on for you, Rhett? Anything coming up? Any good stuff on the docket?
What review wise?
Yeah. Or just-
So next month, I would assume I'll be the one doing college football 25. Because we don't have a ton of sports game fans on the team. So I'm guessing
been-
that one's going to go to me.
Been like
and
a
I'm
dozen years since they had one of those, right?
Yeah. So I'm very much
Looks
looking
good.
forward to that. It does look pretty sweet. And sorry, I would have to check. I knew I threw my name in the hat for something else. Give me
baby.
1 second. Give me 1 second. I threw my name in the hat for Earth Defense Force on PS5 because Earth Defense Force is fucking sweet. If
It
you
really
like
is.
Helldivers, Earth Defense Force was the original Helldivers. So keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Is this a new one or a remade one?
It's a new one. It's Earth Defense Force 6 or 7 or whatever. Yeah, it's the next numbered one in the franchise.
All
Yeah,
right.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just melt
Hopefully it's
those
sweet.
bugs.
yeah. But like I say, hopefully it's sweet, but like half the charm of these games have been like the fact that they are like the video game versions of bad B movies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like a Plan 9 from Outer Space or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. It's been like these games have been like the video game versions of that. So, you know, I say hopefully it's good, but maybe I should say hopefully it's bad.
Yeah, bad, good.
Yeah.
Good, bad. Good, bad. Yeah.
Good bad. Or bad good. Harlequin wants to know if we're watching House of the Dragon. I watched the first season, I thought it was sweet. So I'll be checking out the second season for sure. Is it started yet?
Yeah, I think it has.
Yeah.
It did? Yeah, so I'll check that out.
I did not watch the first season because I was still feeling pissed about Game of Thrones. But
Yeah.
knowing that the first season was very good and this one's
Man,
starting out good,
It really is.
might be time.
It really is good. Yeah.
Might be time. Love those Targaryens, so why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend it. Very good.
You a Game of Thrones guy, James?
I read the books back in the day, and didn't really bother. I watched a tiny bit of the show, like the first season, and then I just kind of because after I watched the first season, I went out and got all the books, and then I read all the books, and I was like, I'm good. And then so much time had passed, I was like, there's no sense in trying to start now. But I did watch the last season with my wife because she wanted to check it out.
Ugh.
So I was like, yes, of course, I will watch this with you by all means. And you know, it wasn't great, but that's fine. It was
Yeah.
also short.
Yeah, unreasonably short. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. It was bad, but at least it didn't take very long.
Oh God. And he's never finishing that series. Period.
No. Of course not.
He's like
never
140 years old
happening.
already.
Yeah, Yeah, everybody's watching, so he can't write the last two books, and that's fine. You're allowed.
It's fine. Unless he's got like the Dead Man Switch set up so the day that he goes, it gets released. That would be pretty badass, actually.
Yeah. You're just like, I just don't want to be around for all the reaction. I don't want to be around to see people tear the books apart. So they come out when I'm dead, not before.
I kind of like that idea, honestly.
Yeah. Listen, if he does that, baller move.
All right, what do you say we get out of here there, guys?
Yeah.
Yep. We can do that.
Time.
Sweet.
That's right. That's right,
Well,
Rhett.
Thanks for
Well,
watching.
Not that I haven't been watching it.
Yes. He's going to dedicate 112% of his attention to it now, though.
But...
That's right.
yeah.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll be back in a week or so with more stuff to talk about. You're right here on
That's
Press
right.
X to Podcast.